Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to trace a massive, continuous river of history. We are looking at the fascinating journey of Buddhism in Thailand. This isn't just a story about dusty, ancient texts. Not at all. It's the story of a living, breathing faith that has flowed through centuries of empires, survived some truly devastating wars, and ultimately shaped the very soul of a nation. So let's jump right in. Here is the core question we really need to ask ourselves today. How exactly did a religion that originated thousands of miles away in India become the absolute cultural DNA of the Thai people? How did it evolve from foreign teachings into the literal foundation of Thai art, governance, and daily life? Well, that epic transformation is exactly what we are mapping out. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap covering over a millennium of history. We'll start with the beginning of faith, move to the golden age of Buddhism, go through crisis to new day, look at Reformation and Restoration, explore how the Buddhist way is the Thai way, and wrap it all up with a summary of the faith journey. Section 1. The beginning of faith. Let's head back to the very roots in Suvarnabhumi. Think of this early era as the headwaters of our historical river. This is where the very first drops of Buddhist philosophy arrived in the ancient land known as Suvarnabhumi. And the thing is, Buddhism didn't just arrive once. It came in waves, taking root in very different regional kingdoms. All the way back in the 3rd century BCE, the Dwaravati kingdom received early Theravada monks. Then, fast forward a bit to the 12th and 13th centuries, and the powerful Srivijaya Empire down in the south heavily adopted Mahayana Buddhism. Later on, by the 15th century, the Lopburi kingdom under the Khmer Empire actually integrated Mahayana Buddhism with Brahmanism. So, looking at these early regions, there's a really fascinating contrast. On one hand, you've got the Dvaravati era, which practiced a very pure form of Theravada Buddhism. They focused strictly on original monastic traditions and built these beautifully simple stupas. But on the other hand, you have the Lopburi era, where the Khmer influence created this vibrant, complex blend. Mahayana Buddhism was heavily mixed with Brahmanism and Hindu rituals there, leaving behind incredible stone sanctuaries that looked vastly different from the Dvaravati structures.
Section 2. The Golden Age of Buddhism. The deep currents of Sukhothai and Lana.
And this brilliantly illustrates how royal patronage absolutely shaped the religion during this era. Down in Sukhothai, King Ram Kamahang actively invited Lankavangsi monks, these were Theravada monks from Sri Lanka, to establish their pure tradition right in his kingdom. This sparked a massive cultural renaissance. It led to the unparalleled flowing beauty of Sukhothai Buddhist art that is still world famous today. Meanwhile, up in the northern Lana kingdom, King Tilokaraj was just as devoted. In the 15th century, he hosted the 8th Tipitaka Council. That was a huge deal because it was the very first time the Buddhist scriptures were officially revised and compiled within the territory of modern-day Thailand. Section 3. Through crisis to new day. Let's look at a period of intense wars and survival. Now, no river flows without hitting a few rocks, right? And the Ayutthaya period was incredibly complex. It was a time of immense power, for sure, but also a time where Buddhism heavily mixed with Brahmanism and concepts of divine kingship again. Constant warfare, especially with Burma, frequently left temples in ruins and threw the whole monastic order into crisis. But here is the incredible irony and really the triumph of Ayutthaya. Even while facing its own massive internal struggles, Buddhism in Ayutthaya remained strong enough that King Boramakat actually exported Thai monks back to Sri Lanka to save their declining monastic lineage. They established the Sayamvungsa sect, which remains a major, thriving Buddhist order in Sri Lanka today. How amazing is that? But then, when the magnificent capital of Ayutthaya finally fell and was destroyed in 1767, things looked incredibly dark. The clergy was scattered everywhere, and ancient temples were just burned to the ground. However, during the brief Thonburi era that followed, King Taksin made it his immediate mission to purify the surviving clergy, weed out corrupt monks, and stabilize the faith. He also relocated sacred artifacts, like the Emerald Buddha, which became powerful unifying symbols of the religion's absolute survival and resilience. Section 4. Reformation and Restoration. Moving into the modern landscape. So the crucial point here is how the kings of the Ratnakosin era systematically modernized the religion to fit a rapidly changing world. Rama I established strict Sangha laws and held another massive council to carefully revise the scriptures. Then you have Rama IV, who was actually a monk himself for 27 years before becoming king. He founded a strict new order called the Dhammayuttaka Nikaya, and even instituted the Magha Puja holiday. After that, Rama V took a truly monumental step. He integrated modern, Western-style public education directly into the temples, literally utilizing the monks as the nation's first public school teachers. All of that history brings us to this staggering number, 94. Because of this millennium of royal patronage, deep cultural integration, and very careful modernization, over 94% of Thais identify as Buddhist today. That is one of the highest concentrations of Buddhists anywhere in the world. However, as with any massive institution in the modern world, it's not perfectly static. It continues to evolve. Today, Thai society is engaged in ongoing, active discussions about the religion's current role. As our sources note, there are debates regarding whether Buddhism should be formally enshrined in the constitution as the official state religion. Additionally, society and the media frequently discuss modern challenges regarding monastic discipline, transparency in temple finances, and ensuring the clergy maintains its strict codes of conduct. And these are completely natural conversations for a society navigating the delicate balance between an ancient faith and a modern legal framework. Section 5, Buddhist way is Thai way. Let's look at everyday life integration. Historically, and honestly even today in many rural areas, the temple, or the wat, is the ultimate community center. They weren't just places to go and pray on a holy day. Not at all. They were the schools where the youth learned to read. They were the local hospitals where traditional medicine was practiced. They were these vibrant hubs for huge community festivals, a safe lodging place for travelers, and even the local centers for dispute resolution where villagers would go for justice and mediation. The temple literally held the fabric of the community together. At the very heart of this daily cultural practice is the concept of boon, or merit. Boon is merit-making through good deeds, charity, and ethical living. And this belief is really the psychological engine that drives the famous generosity of Thai society. People give alms to monks in the morning, they donate to hospitals, and they help their neighbors, because they fundamentally believe that creating boon yields peace of mind right now in this life and positive outcomes in the next. Paired directly with boon is the concept of karma. In the Thai mindset, karma isn't just some vague mystical idea. It is a foundational moral compass. It's the rock-solid belief that intentional actions of your body, speech, or mind have inescapable consequences. It enforces deep personal responsibility. The belief that good actions beget good results and bad actions beget bad actions serves as this incredible internal regulator for social morality across the entire nation. Section 6, Summary of the Faith Journey. Let's review this massive 1,000-year timeline. Let's move to Nanchad and see how this builds, because it's a beautiful shifting tapestry. In the Dvaravati era, we see early Theravada characterized by those original stupas. Then in Lopburi, it shifts to Mahayana and Brahmanism, highlighted by stone sanctuaries like Prang Samyot. Sukhothai brings in the pure Lankavangse Theravada, creating absolutely stunning art. And Ayutthaya, despite all its brutal wars, actually grows strong enough to export the Siamvangse sect back to Sri Lanka. And here is your ultimate milestone timeline to really lock this in. From the very first arrival in Suvarnabhumi way back in the 3rd century BC, to the establishment of the Lankavangse tradition in 13th century Sukhothai, from the export of the Siamvangse order in 18th century Ayutthaya, all the way to the massive, structural modernizing reforms of the 19th century Ratanakosin kings. This timeline right here, this is the spine of Thai cultural history. Which leaves us with this final, really important thought. Buddhism in Thailand is clearly not a static museum piece relic. It is an incredibly adaptable living framework that has survived empires, brutal wars, and immense cultural shifts. So as Thailand races forward into a hyper-connected, rapidly changing modern world, how will this ancient river of faith continue to adapt, guide, and shape the next generation? It is a fascinating question to ponder. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.